Hi guys, welcome back, and today I'm covering what if Goten was born first. Now, before we get into this too much, I want to cover a few things. First of all, I know I've done two new what ifs within the last few weeks, and this is going to be my last new introduction, but it's just because some of my other what ifs are slowly approaching their end. So if I introduce one now, I can sort of mix up my order a bit more, and that's just sort of the general idea of it. And it's also in preparation for when some of my others end. Most of them are quite close to finishing, so I just thought I'd start some new ones now. And the other thing is, I wanted to say that I know this has been done before by Dex Comic, and I watched it months back. I really enjoyed it from what I remember, but I haven't actually finished it yet, so that'll be something I've done probably by the time this video goes up. And after thinking about that what if a few days ago, I remember I wanted to go back through and do my own version of it. So this is mostly because I like Goten and I want to play around with him a bit more than I ever really get the chance to do. Because he's born so late, there's not too much I can do. And another reason is I just think I could maybe add my own interesting twists in there. But like I said, I haven't watched it in a while, so it's not really fresh in my mind what he did. So if any parts of my story overlaps with his story, I want to apologise from the start. But I think that's everything I wanted to cover, and I hope everyone enjoys this, and let me know if you do. Now, things throughout the start of Dragon Ball go pretty much like normal. Nothing needs to change here. That is until the age 757, and this is where we see the change of this story. We see the birth of Goten instead of Gohan. Now, to keep things simple here, I will be calling Goten Goten. Even though he would likely be called Gohan, it just stops me having a massive headache by the end of it. Now, with Goten being born, most things go normal for a while, up until the age of 761. This is where we see Goten starting to be tutored by Chi-Chi, only small amounts, just so the boy knows how to read and write. In this timeline, Chi-Chi still wants a scholar child, so she's teaching him from an early age. With Goten not enjoying this learning as much as Gohan did in canon, he keeps doing it to keep his mother happy. Now one day, Chi-Chi is headed out to do some grocery shopping and just pick up a few supplies for the house. So this leaves Goku looking after Goten. Goten has been left a book to read while she is out, and Goku tells his son to come outside and read the book, just to change up the scenery a little bit. Goten happy to do so, he starts reading his book outside somewhere, just under a tree. This is where something catches his eye, something he had never really seen before. He sees his father doing some training. Now, Goten knows his father is a fighter, but has never watched him train before. And he's amazed. His normally goofy, easygoing father is now doing incredible things. Very serious and quick jabs, powerful blows. Things like this is incredible to him. The speed and power his father's also moving at amazes him. And so much so, he has stopped reading his book altogether and is now just staring at his father going through some basic workout. And eventually Goku sees his son staring at him, and he looks over to him, smiling a little bit, asking if he would like to try doing a little bit of training with him. Goten smiles as he nods, with the boy jumping up and running over to his dad. With Goku starting to take his son through some very basic training stuff for the next few hours, which Goten really enjoys. Eventually, Chi-Chi is coming back home, and once she does get home, she sees the likes of Goku and Goten going through some workout together, with Chi-Chi about to shout at her husband, before catching the look on Goten's face, with both Goku and Goten laughing their heads off while smiling with one another. It's clear that the pair are having a good time, and this calms her down a small amount before she comes around the corner. She does shout at the two, and this takes them both by surprise, but Goten runs over to his mother and shares everything he had learnt today from his training with his dad. Chi-Chi's sort of taken aback by this. He wasn't expecting Goten to be so enthusiastic about this. He is told to go and grab his book and head into the house, and the whole time she stares daggers at Goku, who currently is nervously sweating bullets. Goten does what he's told, runs over to grab his book and heads back into the house. And once he does, Chi-Chi walks over to Goku, who is currently trying to think of any way to escape. But soon Chi-Chi begins to quite calmly say to Goku how they thought they agreed on the fact that Goten would concentrate on studying and wouldn't be doing any martial arts. Goku is very surprised at this and how well Chi-Chi's handling everything, and Goku goes through explaining that, well, Goten was reading his book outside while I was doing some training, and he was watching me do it and he wanted to join in, so I let him. I didn't think it would be too much of an issue, sorry. With Chi-Chi looking slightly annoyed, she and Goku start having quite a civil conversation. You see, in this timeline, Chi-Chi understands that Goten isn't a massive fan of studying and doesn't care too much for being a scholar other than the fact his mother wants him to be, and he hasn't really been enjoying the reading he's been going through. And for the first time, Chi-Chi could see Goten was genuinely having a good time training with his father, so she's willing to come up with a compromise in this timeline. She explains to Goku how they will talk to Goten later about this, but she's willing to allow Goten to start doing some training with him. Goku, hearing this, gets all excited at the thought of having his son to train with. However, Chi-Chi goes on to explain how he can only train after doing some studying. Goku understands this and doesn't mind it. He understands that Chi-Chi wants her son to be successful, and he agrees to this arrangement as long as Goten wants to do it. The pair head into the house where Goten is sat at the table reading, with Chi-Chi happy to see that Goten has done what he's been told to do. The likes of Chi-Chi ask Goten if he enjoyed his day of training with his father, which Goten says he does. However, he catches the look on his mother's face, which is somewhere between annoyed and happy, and she then asks him would he like to do some training with his father again at some point. Goten gives a slight nod, but is clearly nervous of how his mother might react. However, all she does is sigh slightly and explain the rules that he can only train with his father after he has done some studying. Goten, hearing this, is very happy, and the Sun family get into a small routine where Goten will spend the first half of his day studying, and then he would train with his father for the last few hours of the day before calling it a day. Chi-Chi, not thrilled with this arrangement, is happy to see that Goku and Goten are spending so much time together, and sometimes she will join in with the bit of training with the pair, just so they can all spend some time together. Now let's cut forward a little bit, a few months, to the point where Goku is heading off to a reunion at Kame House. Like normal, he decides to take Goten with him. The pair leave, telling Chi-Chi they will be back later. And things at Kame House go slightly different. You see, when Goku lands with Goten, the group immediately make the connection between Goku and Goten. The pair look exactly alike, and they immediately put together that that is his son. Now, Goten being more social than Gohan, he introduces himself to all of his dad's friends, with Krillin and Roshi actually being able to tell the boys quite well trained. And Goku says how he and Chi-Chi came to an arrangement that Goten can train as long as he studies a bit as well. The group finding it funny that there could possibly be someone as strong as Goku who is also 100 times smarter than him. They all have a bit of a laugh about it, and things go pretty normal here. The likes of Raditz shows up, he stops off by Piccolo's power, mixing it up for his brothers, and soon finds Goku's. Goku's power here is slightly higher, but we'll cover that in a bit. Now, much like normal, Raditz arrives at Kame House, and things go pretty normal here. However, when Goku gets hit by Raditz, he takes the attack a lot better, thanks to being a small amount stronger. It's not like he completely nullified the damage, but it just didn't hurt as much as it did in canon. Obviously, next, things go pretty normal, with the likes of Raditz soon figuring out that Goten is Goku's son and his nephew, and he goes over to grab the young hybrid. However, Goten puts up a fight here. It doesn't do much, however, it does shock Raditz a small amount, and this makes him delay his actions, which gives Goku some time to get back up, and he lands an attack on Raditz, managing to hit his brother pretty hard, and this is where the fight is about to break out. Raditz recollects himself and turns around to see his brother in a fighting stance, and now Goku is getting ready to fight, who is soon joined by Krillin, Roshi, and also Goten. The four taking a fighting stance to fight the one person. Goku starts to take off his weighted clothing, and Raditz gets a better read on his opponent's power level, and from what he can tell, it's not going to be too much to worry about. And quickly here, everyone else other than Goku and Goten have the same power as in canon, so I'm not going to bring them up. But I'm going to bring up Goku and Goten's quickly. Goku with his weighted clothing on has a power level of about 433, which is higher than his full power from canon. And this is because he's had some training partners to mess around with recently. And also because he's been training Goten, he's been pushing himself a little bit harder and spending a bit more time training than he would have in canon. When he takes off his weighted clothing, his power level actually goes up to 520. It's nothing incredible, but it's 100 higher than his canon counterpart, so I think that's pretty reasonable. And these are for the reasons like I said above. Now, Goten, his max output right now is 100. His potential is incredible, and even though he's only been doing small amounts of training, he has managed to grow quite strong quite fast. And this has been helping Goku motivate himself to grow stronger, and also showing Goku Goten's potential as a fighter. Now, with this done, Goku rushes at Raditz, trying to catch him off guard. However, Raditz manages to dodge this attack pretty easily. Krillin, seeing the fact that Raditz is in the air, takes a jump towards the fighter, trying to land a hit on him. However, Krillin can't do much here thanks to the, well, massive difference in power. But thanks to the amount of people that are fighting Raditz here, it leads to one person managing to land a sneak attack on him. This being Goten. Goten manages to jump up behind Raditz, and this is for a multitude of reasons. His low power level and his small size are the main contributors to this, and he lands a hit on him in the air. It doesn't do any damage really, however what it does do is show Master Roshi something. It shows him that Raditz is going to let his guard down a lot more than he should, and the old man is thinking of a plan. With Goku and Krillin currently trying to fight off Raditz, Roshi is starting to rotate round the fight, pretty undetected. With Goten jumping in to help his father and Krillin fight off Raditz, it doesn't take long for Raditz to forget about the fact there's 4 fighters here, as he's having to fight off quite hard. Now, Master Roshi is pretty much behind Raditz now, and he fires off the Thundershock surprise attack. This electrocutes Raditz and pins him down. Master Roshi shouts out for one of his students to grab his tail, with Goku quickly doing so, and Roshi releases the Thundershock surprise technique. With Raditz unable to move thanks to Goku having his tail, like in canon, Goku is tricked to releasing his tail of his brother, and this leads to Goku getting beaten by Raditz pretty hard. With the likes of Krillin and Roshi trying to help, they aren't able to do much right now. However, the likes of Goten, seeing his father being beaten so badly, he gets angry and quickly rushes at Raditz. I'm giving him a small boost here, let's put him up to 400 quickly. And thanks to this boost, he's actually able to land a good hit on Raditz to get him off his dad. Goku thanks his son and everyone gets ready to fight once again. However, now Goku is out of the fight, he can sense the power of Piccolo rising dramatically. It's not too far out, just off the shore, not too far out into the sea. Goku gets ready to fight and knows Piccolo needs an opening. So the four continue to fight, with Raditz's scouter not being able to pick up Piccolo. To the fact there is 4 people around him who are pretty strong, so it's making it pretty hard. However, Raditz is keeping an eye on the likes of Master Roshi here. He knows he's got some weird techniques, and knows that he doesn't want to give him another opening for the Thundershock surprise. Now this fight isn't easy, but the group hold him off for 2 minutes longer, which is when the shout of "move" is heard. With Goku grabbing his friends and dodging to the left, he manages to move out of the way just fast enough before a spiral beam hits Raditz in the gut, and this leads to the Saiyan to start to die. With Goku trying to comfort his brother a small amount, Raditz doesn't care, and like normal, Vegeta and Nappa hear what's happening. And hearing how Raditz was killed, the pair are interested to see who killed him and are on their way to Earth. Everything here goes pretty normal, and around this time, Piccolo lands on the island. With Krillin and Roshi getting defensive, Goku explains how he is the one who killed Raditz. With the two calming down a bit, Goku fills Piccolo in on what's happening and how more Saiyans are coming, so they need to train. With Piccolo hearing that, he is about to head off to train on his own, but Goku explains how it might be best if they train together, as that would be the best way for them to grow stronger. Piccolo thinks it over, and he agrees. With Goku saying that Krillin and the others should head to army like he did when he was a kid, they all agree. With Goten sort of looking somewhat excited, he asks who he's training with. Goku looks at Roshi and asks if his old master could train him, just for a month, to help him learn a bit more about martial arts. Both Goten and Roshi are shocked, but Goku goes on to explain how he wouldn't be as strong as he is today if it wasn't for him. So if he could train Goten up just a small bit and Goten becomes stronger, that would be helpful. Plus it gives Piccolo and him time to get stronger through much more intense training for introducing Goten to whatever training they're doing. Roshi does agree, and the only reason Goku thinks this will be allowed is because Chi-Chi was telling him how she was going to allow Goten to train with Master Roshi when his birthday came around. So he's just hoping that Chi-Chi won't kick off too much. Goku now thinks about it and he realizes he's going to have to explain everything to Chi-Chi, and that worries him. But he hopes everything will be alright. And this is where I'm going to end this part. The setup for the Saiyan Saga is done. I've introduced the story, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. Not got too much to say here, but leave a like if you enjoyed, and have a good day or a night. Hopefully see you next time.